All right, Commissioners, we'll get about 3 minutes. I think most everybody is on here. I'm waiting for Chief Salcedo to give me the okay that it's already being broadcast. So give me a few minutes.
They hear me.
Hey, Mariana, I sent you an
Hi.
email.
You just sent me an email?
Yes.
Check.
All right. Are you ready? Everybody here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's get this meeting started. Call this meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, August 26, 2020. Time is 6 p.m. in my clock. Present today we have Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Butler, Commissioner Santana, Commissioner Barnes, Commissioner Avalos. Item number 3, public comments. We did post the number, which is 915-213-3008. The PIN code for this meeting will be 305-885-169#. That's 915-213-3008 with a PIN access code of 305-885-169# to join the meeting if you have public comment. At this time, I don't see anybody for public comment. I did not receive any emails for it. Item number 4, consent agenda. Discuss and approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on August 18, 2020. Commissioners, anything you want to discuss on those minutes?
Negative.
Make a motion to approve if no one else does.
Commissioner
Second.
Barnes? Who was the second?
Diaz.
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz?
Aye.
Commissioner Butler?
Aye.
Commissioner Santana?
Aye.
Commissioner Barnes?
Aye.
And Commissioner Avalos?
Aye.
Motion carries. Regular agenda, item number 5, discuss and take action on the adoption of the 2020 ad valorem tax rate of the El Paso County Emergency Services District Number 2 of 0.095097 per $100 valuation, consisting of a depth rate of 0.041152 and a maintenance and operations rate of 0.053945 per 100 valuation, and authorizing appropriate district officials to implement same and execute necessary orders for same. Do I have a motion, Commissioners?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second.
Unless there's any comments, I don't want.
You want to give them a few minutes in case somebody wants to call in for comments?
It's up to the president. I support our president.
Okay. Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Butler,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Barnes,
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos.
Aye.
Motion carries. Give me 1 minute. I'm getting called from our attorney. Give me 1 minute. All right, Commissioner, sorry about that. He's having technical difficulties getting into the meeting, so he will be calling in. Item number 6, discuss and take action on Chief Treviso's 30-day expiration deadline on emergency reporting. Commissioners, if you all can see your Dropbox, there was already the number of calls that San Elizario Fire Department was originally tasked with. When we originally started looking at this in June, there was 1,602 calls. By August 12th, there was 1,371 calls. By August 17th, there was 1,378 calls. And as of today, there is 1,071 calls still open, unclosed. Now, we did have a meeting with Chief Treviso, Commissioner Santana and I on Friday to discuss this and kind of see where he was at. And one of the things that he brought up is that there was 5 outstanding calls for the paid staff, which were closed on that same day because they were from the day before. And then there's 122 to 130 calls from tribal. 100 up to 130 calls from tribal that were not that were being allocated to his department. So even if we delete those calls that are not from his department, which we found out the error from the 911 district that they did not change when tribal took over their territory. They forgot to remove the numbers, and they're still dumping them into San Eli. So even if it's 130 calls, that's still not 1,000 calls. They are working on them. He has requested to a little bit more time to complete his task, and that'll be up for you as a board to decide whether you want to allow him to continue or not continue. I did invite Ken Campbell on this meeting because I feel that we want to make sure, just like we did at the other ones, that we are not doctoring any documents when we close them out as is, just by filling out what department it was and when it should have been closed out. And I think Ken is now on the line. Ken?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Chief, I do have a question.
go ahead.
He's got 1071 calls that are still open, correct? And then you said
Correct.
minus the 130, so that puts him at 900 and something maybe?
Right.
Okay. Everything else has been taken care of. And the reason I asked this is because I took some time to talk to him. I gave him a courtesy call, just to educate myself a little bit more and make sure that, I'm understanding this. He has some NAs in there. He's got some stuff in there from paid staff. How many more calls does he have for the 2020, for the calendar year 2020? Is he almost done?
As of today for 2020?
Yes, sir. Is he almost to January?
No, we still have about a good 300 calls just to finish this year,
300 calls to finish this year?
just from January 1st of 2020 to now. Till actually, yeah, till now.
Okay. In talking to him, I asked him, I said, what had happened? And I know you've explained it, and I know yourself and President Santana did go talk to him. He says he's taken full responsibility in this, and, the reason he didn't want to use the district is because as far as he needs to close them out, because in other words, if they falsify something on the paramedic side, if they falsify something, he can lose his paramedic license, is what he said. Sorry. And that's what he said. And that's why he wants to finish closing his calls on his own. That's why he hasn't asked for help. So, Commissioner Santana, how do you view this? And
I think he demonstrated. They made their own spreadsheets for the department to work together, try to complete what they're doing, and it's obvious how much they've done. The fact that they waited this long to start, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I think we need to let him do what he's doing, and hopefully he'll finish soon enough. He did tell us that he would do his best to within a month. To complete what he had to complete, and I do trust that he's doing it right. He's not falsifying any documents.
correct.
I think he's a man that should stay there and complete that task.
Correct.
I think he should be given an ultimatum. He already missed the first ultimatum that was given, that was asked to the chiefs.
Right.
All the chiefs made it except Chief Teresa. I think if we don't set a date for him, that sends a bad signal, especially because what we've ignored to talk about so far is that this could cost the county and the city a huge grant to help out all the fire departments. And right now, we know that the missing factor is the documents that he still needs to provide. That's a big deal considering what they're trying to purchase and how it would help everyone. So I think if we're going to allow him to stay on, that's fine, but we give him a date, and if it's not entered by that date, and he doesn't catch up, then he needs to step down. If he won't step down, we're not telling him not to be a firefighter, but someone else needs to take charge of that department. I think another 30 days is more than ample enough time for him to complete that task, get it done, make sure we're with the county, the city fire department, and allow him to continue being a chief. But I think we need to, I agree with everything you gentlemen are saying, but he's already missed the deadline when the other chiefs did not. The other chiefs did accept help when help was offered to them. The other chiefs did work with Roger when Roger reached out to them. This was the only chief that did not. And yes, he has made it since that time, and since pressure has been put, he has gained ground quite a bit. But I don't think we just let him and say, okay, go ahead and finish. I think we need to give him a time frame. And if he doesn't reach that time frame, then continue being a firefighter, but someone needs to take the reign, someone new at Sanelli. Because this also, he's in violation of his contract, right? And so, you know, we're trying to help and work with him. But let's look at this. He is in violation of that contract. Part of being a chief is putting in this information into the system. And on top of that, because of this, we're also out of compliance with some of the rules that pertain to us as an ESD. So I want him to continue being the chief. I hope he continues, but I'm going to say it one more time, like a broken record. I think we should allow him to continue, but we give him 30 more days. And if not met at that time, then we find a new chief for Sanelli. That's my 2 cents here.
Commissioners, I just want to emphasize, if you look at I just got this spreadsheet a couple hours ago. I got it from Assistant Chief Martinez. So this is the month of August right here. You can see everything in green has been reviewed and closed out. I do want to give props to Chief Treviso. He is one of the top responders for his department. I'm not going to take that from him. I hear him on the radio. I hear him responding on calls. The thing that we have to look at is a lot of the unreviewed calls are mostly his, because he is one of the top responders for his department. And it could be encompassing, like I told him during the meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Santana, most of the calls that we are going to, it's a 3 to 5 minute entering of a report. The basic life support that we're providing along with live, or the fact that we got canceled en route, or when we arrived at the scene, should not encompass the fact that we are waiting all this time to do a paramedic report if we're not providing paramedic level. And I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm just, if you look at it, 125 to 130 calls that are belong to tribal, those are easy. We can always delete those as they did not happen. They were just dumped in there accidentally. So if you see wherever it says tribal, it will be gone. But nonetheless, there's still a lot of calls that are pending for the individuals from there. So again, this is, I'm bringing this up to you all because he did want me to show you as the board that he is working on it and he's trying, but it's just as a matter of fact, as of today, I got another notification from the City of El Paso's grant department that I still haven't submitted the documentation showing that all of our departments are compliant with INFRS. So I can't do that until I get his. Ken, any comments?
I agree with Commissioner Avalos. We do need to give him a time frame. We gave him one already, the 30 days, and not much was done. I think towards the end he started working on it. So I do agree with Commissioner Avalos. There's got to be some accountability.
The same here, I agree. If you give him a attainable time frame where he can get it done and something that he can get to, we need to hold him accountable and just have him complete it.
So Chief, you think I guess another 30 days would be, is that a good amount? Is it achievable?
If he continues on the track that he is today and continues and we can definitely help him out. I offered the help and I'll offer it again. We need to get this done. I don't want to be the district that the reason why we didn't get a grant.
Right.
Chief, I have a question. The help that you're offering him because I also think that I know he's the only chief that didn't take it, but at some point, if he needs the help, then we need to give him that help. So here's my question. My question is, the help that you will offer him, will it in some way violate or hurt anything that he's doing? I guess what I'm trying to say, will it be out of compliance with what he's trying to do? Or with the help that you're going to offer him, Will it help him speed up everything while continuing to be in compliance with the agencies that we're reporting to?
No, I had a conversation today with our legal to confirm that we didn't violate anything what we did with any of the other calls. And again, a lot of these calls are very simple to be able to close out. And it's just a matter of entering what department responded on it, the times of the call, and a lot of that we got from the narrative that's already dumped in there by the 911 district. The only thing we don't touch is any patient care or any narrative that's there by the firefighters, because we don't even know who some of these people are, since a lot of the departments are only saying, and I'll give you an example. Right now, if I say FM 901, everybody knows that's me. And it's been me for the last 12 years. But if somebody else says unit 6010, 640, 650, we don't know who they are because they swap so many times that it gets lost in between. From 1 month to another, that unit number could be somebody else.
So in other words, it gets recycled is what you're saying. Any new
Yes.
member that comes in will get that number, and that old member that had that number goes into a different number?
Yeah, so that's the convoluted part of all of this, is that we started seeing this when we started helping the other departments. Is like I said in one of the previous meetings, some of the members, the same member has 4 different units because that department believed that if you bring in somebody, they promote a number, and that just created a mess because that same guy has open calls, and we don't know who it is now because it's all. I'm gonna use 610 as an example. 610, I started as a 610, and then now I'm 602. But then I jumped from 610, 608, 606, 605, 603, 602. So I'm the same individual. So I recommend it to all our departments, do not do that, the ones that are doing it, because that just created a mess.
Yeah.
So a lot of the departments did acknowledge that, and they halted doing that. But with the same token, I said it before, I think we need to look at the bigger picture, is that some of these numbers should not be recycled anymore because it's there. Maybe we should let a couple of years pass by before we recycle the number so that it doesn't get convoluted as who was there and who was not there.
Or at least close
Does that
out
make
all
sense?
reports.
What's that?
Or at least close out all the reports anyway, so they don't.
Right, yeah, if you close out the report on the time that it was scheduled to be closed, then you should be able to have not an issue, but it's when it gets to this point that we're gonna have major issues.
Got it.
So what happens after 30 days if he doesn't close out all of the reports?
I believe the board can take action to ask for resignation, correct, Ken?
I'm not necessarily resignation. We could ask for his resignation, but what we do is what we've done with the other folks is we just say you're not welcome on district property anymore. Turn in all your stuff.
What I mean is, what happens to those reports that haven't been
Well,
closed out?
we will have to end up closing them the same way we said, closing out by department, just closing out and just closing them out as is. No narratives, no patient care, no, and that's the best of the ability that we can do with what we have.
So my thoughts on this are we punishing Chief Treviso for something he's not been doing? Or, and if that's the case, shouldn't we punish him now instead of wait 30 days?
That is the problem. We have somebody that is leading the way, trying to fix that issue. If we get rid of him right now, if we say, you know what, you need to step down, then who's going to do it?
But, okay, so shouldn't we then say, fix it? And if you continue to do this, then we'll punish you, not we're giving you 30 days to fix it. Right? So isn't the 30 days arbitrary? If he's working on it and he's trying to fix it, as long as he doesn't let this happen again and fall behind reports.
It's 30 to fix it, to complete those runs.
Commissioner, I'm sorry, just to clarify, there's a reason for the 30 days. I have to give the city of El Paso and FEMA the report so they can get this grant. That's why we're putting a deadline, so that I can do my part to give this for this grant. Because if we don't give a deadline, it could be a couple of months, and yes, he's working on it, but then we will definitely not get this grant.
Right.
Okay, okay. So why don't we just say if he doesn't get it done in 30 days, then we're gonna do it?
Right.
You
Why
can,
would-
you
why
can, this
would we
is,
move him?
that's why you're all discussing. So it's discuss and take action on Chief Treviso's 30-day expiration deadline on emergency reporting. You all as the board can make it whatever you all choose to vote on.
Now, Roger, when's your cutoff date?
Let me check my email
No,
right.
about, not a date, but about 30 days. Is that for you too?
Yeah, 30 days is, they've already cut me some extensions. As a matter of fact, I want to make it public. El Paso Fire Department went personally to Commissioner Santana's work, where he worked for them, knowing that he was the president of the board, and tell him that I wasn't complying with the request for the reports. Am I correct, Commissioner?
They just wanted to find a different angle. Hopefully they could fix this issue.
Is there information on this grant that you all are referencing in the Dropbox somewhere?
No, because it's not through us, Commissioner. It's through the El Paso Fire Department. They're putting in for a $700,000 rehab unit for the county, for everybody to be able to use.
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about a city grant.
Well, we've actually discussed it in the other previous meetings, correct, Commissioner? When all this started with the reports, that's why we were doing it.
Well, I guess this is where we're at right now.
If you want, I can get the El Paso Fire Department to, I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, if you want, I can get the El Paso Fire Department to send me the application for the FEMA grant, where it's detailing that we are part of it. We don't have any other documentation as we are not handling any of that.
Out of the
It's a joint
700,
effort with the city, county, Office of Emergency Management is handling all this.
out of the $700,000, more or less, Roger, how much would that come to us?
No, it's not money.
None of the money will come to us. It's a unit that they're buying. It's a big rehab unit for a big disasters that the city of El Paso currently does not have, or any of us have in stock to be able to handle anything like what we're doing now.
Okay, do we have any representation on that board? As far, I know that you've said before that we didn't have any representation, but you were trying to see if you could get on that board. Have you made any headway on getting on that board as a representative for the ESD too?
No, that's the Office of Emergency Management, and all their funding is a city county, so that's handled by the county judge's office. Wally is also on the line. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's handled by him, and it's appointed by people that he appoints from the county.
Okay. So at this point in time, I mean, yourself, I mean, I think you'd be a perfect candidate. Have you gotten appointed in there?
No, not yet, but we're working on different angles. I did bring up the fact that I like the idea that we're going as a joint effort as different departments. The El Paso Fire Department is now reaching out to us more than ever. They see that with this pandemic, they have not been alone, that we are also as a joint effort for everybody. So they're involving us more and more into it, and we're part of the decision-making little by little. So we've made a lot of headway from what we had in years past.
Okay.
So the other thing that we need to take into consideration as well, commissioners, and Ms. Butler, you bring up a good point, right? So why are we doing this? Well, what's the whole point of this, right? So some things that we should take into consideration. We're about to approve 31 trucks tonight with laptops on them. And if we don't do something to remedy a department not inputting these reports in, then why are we going to spend a lot of taxpayers' money on units that the whole purpose of these units and the laptops is for them to be able to put in this information? There needs to be a point where we show, and I'm going to say it, we need to show that this board, that the ESD is going to make it mandatory and that it's important for them to input this information in, especially, and correct me if I'm wrong, the firefighters that are on here right now. Most of these calls only take 3 to 5 minutes to input when the volunteer is done responding to that call. So that's one thing I would say. Secondly, Roger is right. Chief Treviso, to his credit, responds to a lot of calls. I mean, that guy is on it all the time. So to his credit, yes, he does respond to a lot of calls, which is why I feel that it's only fair to allow him to remedy this situation, because he is very active in Sunny. He's active with his department. And if he's taking responsibility for it, and he's already talked to 2 commissioners and told them, look, it's my bad, I want to fix this. I think we should give him an opportunity to fix it, but with a deadline. And if he can't fix it within that deadline that we're talking about, and you're right, Ms. Butler, the deadline, 30 days, it's a good question to ask. What was the point of the 30-day deadline? And we should know when to get this info to the county. But there has to be something there that if he doesn't remedy this the way we're asking him to, then something needs to happen at that point. Because again, even right now, he's in violation of the contract. He's in violation of the contract that he signs with the ESD as a chief. Now, and we're out of compliance with certain agencies because we don't have this stuff in. But I like to give him the benefit of the doubt because he is a chief that responds. I mean, if you look at the numbers and the stats that come out, Treviso's in a lot of those calls. And I think, that's something to be spoken for, that he responds so much. So that's kind of how I see it. If we don't do something about this, then I don't understand why we would need to approve 31 very expensive laptops and 31 new trucks if they're not going to be inputting reports. And then we have a bigger issue. So that's my.
And Commissioner, that's one of the topics that I've always had with the chiefs. The district spends a lot of taxpayers' dollars to ensure that we have technology out there available for them to enter reports, whether it be laptops, iPads, you name it, we have it out there. We're about to invest in a fleet that most of them are going to be equipped with onboard computers. Little by little, we've been doing that, but now we're about to do a big chunk of these vehicles to ensure that this doesn't happen again. And if it continues to happen, then we have a bigger problem. We just spent taxpayer dollars for this not to happen. Now, one of the reasons that we also have to look at this, Commissioner Butler, is not only the fact for this grant. Part of this, all these FEMA fundings that are through the government, this is one of the requirements. We can't get this if we're not complying with the reporting of the reports that we are supposed to enter. So one of the things that we did this time is we looked at them and we're now going to keep up. I can tell you right now that most of the departments that are now compliant, because I get an email saying that they downloaded all their reports. So out of all the departments that we help, they're on it. Now, the only one that we're struggling right now is San Elizario.
Okay.
And I do agree with Commissioner Avalos and Commissioner Santana. Chief Treviso is the one that responds the most. However, he's the one that has the most calls open.
Well, okay, so I think then somebody coming in here not knowing any background information on the grant or what's going on with this reporting issue. We have discussed accountability. So I think there's been a breakdown in accountability, right, when it comes to reporting. And we're trying to get on top of that, which is why we included it in the contracts. But also, it seems like 2 different issues, right? So we have a deadline for the grant submission, and then we have the issue with Chief Treviso not following through with the reporting requirements. So to me, they seem like 2 different things, unless I'm reading.
Now I do believe that once this is straightened out, I think it should run smoothly, because now I'm logged into all theirs and I'll be able to account for all their reports. And like I said, on all the departments that had the issue, I do get an email every time there's a download to all the reports to the state. So I have those documents now to where I know that I can send the ones for Socorro, Fabens, Clint, Montana Vista, West Valleys. The only one I'm lacking right now is San Elizario. That's why I'm trying to do everything I can, because I don't want to be part of the issue with the city of El Paso. I want the city and the county of El Paso to thrive and get these grants that are coming towards the the taxpayers.
So what is the deadline for the city and the county?
Well, 3 weeks ago, they gave me 3 more weeks. I just literally got an email today from the chief, and Chief Muro, and he's asking me for the report as of actually, he just asked me for the reports one more time to access the reports. He didn't give me a deadline, but the last talk we had, and I was here, they met with me here in person. Chief Muro's new to that area. And he said they had asked for another 4-week extension, and they just got a reply back. So he's wanting those. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send all the ones to the other departments, and hopefully in 2 to 3 weeks, I can send the one for San Elizario, and hopefully that'll work. Because FEMA is going to want to.
So then we don't have 30 days.
No, we don't. No, you're right, Commissioner Butler. We don't have 30
Yeah,
days.
that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, Roger. If you have 30 days, we don't have 30 days. So he's
I'm
gonna
trying.
accept help and,
I'm
Would
trying.
we say-
I'm sorry.
Do you think
Right.
we have about 20 days, chief, maybe?
10 days.
10 days.
Basically, they needed these yesterday.
So I'm going to send, like I said, I'm going to send the first 5 departments, and hopefully that'll get the ball rolling with FEMA to start looking at it. And then by that time, they'll have the ones for San Elizario, and I can send that report.
Chief Esparza, with the help of the way you provided help for the other chiefs, with the manpower that you have here at the ESD currently right now, could you knock this out with Ray? Whether Ray wants to help or not, I think we need to force him to take the help, because he has said no repeatedly in the past, and we're at a point now where he needs to take the help.
Right.
With the help that he will be provided, can you guys working together, can you knock it out 2 weeks from now, which would put us, I believe, on September 9th? Is that doable in 14 days?
My staff can knock this out in 1 week.
Okay, so then we need your staff, whether he says no again tonight, I think that needs to be part of whatever we vote on, that if he denies the help that's being provided to him, that action needs to be taken. We're giving him, again, he has a chance to remedy this, to fix it. We're trying to help him. Him saying no to the help, I mean, to me, that's a deal breaker, especially because we want to help him. We're trying to. So I don't see why he would say no to that. But if you're saying that with the manpower we have here and Ray working on it, if we can knock it out in 2 weeks, then I think that's the time limit with the caveat that your team helps out as well, the way you did the other chiefs.
Ken, any issues with that? I think you're muted, Ken.
We just need to get it done. I don't see any issues. It just doesn't make sense to me that this is not getting done. He could go in there himself and close each one of them out, and it'd take him, I don't know, a few hours if he's not adding anything to it, right?
Correct.
And we don't
Yep.
want to be a stumbling block with the city of El Paso getting something that could help all of us.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I say it'll take us a week is because we will, to include myself, we will have to review the notes on the comments of the card and try to decipher who it is that was on that call on that day so that we can try to close up the call as best as we can. So that's why I say if I put all my staff that's here right now to it, they can knock it out within a week.
And that would be with Chief DeRiso's help or without his help?
Even without his help, it'd be a week.
Chief, is there any way you can maybe get Ray and Mike, his assistant? I know Michael's been his assistant. He's been an intricate part in helping out and doing all the spreadsheets and stuff. Is there any way you can probably bring both of them in and, you know, get them to help you out?
Well, they don't have to come in. They just have to like start doing the closing of the calls, because if they're trying to close out calls that are 30 months old, I guarantee you they don't remember what happened at that call.
I know that they're working from most recent back.
Correct.
Okay.
So I guess that's the question, commissioners and Commissioner Santana, maybe you can, and I'm a little confused here too, and I don't know if it's the same question that Commissioner Butler was asking. If you guys can do it without Chief Treviso, why are we having this conversation then, if it can be done without him?
Because I'm giving all the chiefs the benefit of their, what do we always call it? There's a word we always use for it.
Because I was under the impression that it would be advantageous to the ESD to have him close it out, that it's important that he do it. But if it's the same difference,
it would be because he's the one that ran the call. So if anybody was going to enter any information, it should be him. However, like I said, 1,000 calls, and if he's doing 75% of the calls, there's only one person that could do it, and it's not going to happen within a week or two.
Right.
And even then, I do guarantee you that if it's a 30-month-old call, he's not going to remember what happened on that call. Unless it's a...
Even if it's 30...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I said even if it's 30 months old, if we take him out of the equation, I think we open ourselves up to a liability because he was on the call. He could have been part of the call. We put him on the bench. We put players on the court that not familiar with the call and they're closing these out while he's on the bench. I think we owe him the opportunity, though we already gave it to him, to continue mission and maybe be monitored, see where he's at Monday.
Within that, Commissioner Barnes, I think the one thing that I can assign my staff to do is fill in the quick blanks that are easy, which department, what district, the things that, and he can review the call and just close it out himself. That way he doesn't have to spend time trying to add information into the call.
What if we don't allow him to go on any more calls until he finishes his reporting?
Well, I mean, that could be a situation, but we'd also be hurting the taxpayers because he's the top responder.
Yeah,
Well, we're hurting the taxpayers anyway by not having accountable reporting.
Well, it's emergency response that matters the most. It's patient care. It's not the money. Who cares about the money at the end? It's taking care of the people, and he's the one to do it. So no, you can't say that.
But aren't we also liable if we don't have reporting?
This is a grant. The city's asking for a bus, pretty much. The only way they can get the bus is if they work with the county as well. Now, the county, what we have to do is close those runs. I don't think. You also have to understand, let's say we take him out of running on the calls. He still has his job. I don't think that's not going to say anything. And you use the word punishment. This isn't punishment. We just have to fix things. It's just not right to say that. I agree with Commissioner Avalos. What we need to do right now is, Chief, if you can have your staff help them out, and let's get it done within, the least time possible. Send those 5 other volunteer departments, send them the information that they need, and hopefully soon enough we'll have the rest from Sanelli.
I'm in agreement with Santana and Mr. Avalos on this.
I think the way that we go forward with it, and believe me, Commissioner Butler, I was very frustrated too, and I had to pray about it and rationalize about it. And it is true what the Commissioner Santana is saying, and Commissioner Diaz, he is a good responder to the people of the Lower Valley. Ray does go on most of those calls, but I think the bigger deal right now with regards to where we are with making sure that we're good with the agencies we report to and helping the city with this grant. I think the way we move forward is we give them 15 days to finish it with the help of the ESD, correct? And he has to take the help. He can't tell us no. That's part of the deal, because it's like Chief Esparza was saying, that's how he was able to help the other departments. They would fill in the stuff that takes time. It's meticulous for them to sit there and then a drop bar comes down. Be good to do that. Send him over the other stuff. He reviews it, signs it, and let's get it going. And then I think that also sets a precedent from now on that all the chiefs have to do this stuff on time. The other thing I would like to add is that right now, one of the reasons why we found out about this so late is because there are still chiefs that are denying Roger the ability to view their reporting on computers that are owned by the ESD, on internet service that is paid for by the ESD, and Roger being the chief officer of the ESD, he should have the ability to look at what's happening in the reporting. That would be like telling the chief of police, the fire chief in El Paso, that he can't look into certain firehouses, that the only person that can look at that firehouse is the commanding officer there. Obviously, that wouldn't work because that disrupts a chain of command. So I think that's something we're going to have to visit in the future as well, is for whoever it is, whether it's Roger or a year from now, someone else comes in, they should have the ability to see what the chiefs are putting in, because at the end of the day, all the equipment they're using to not only save lives, but to enter this information is ESD property. Ken, is that correct? The way I said that, or do you need or did I go off there a little bit?
No, that's correct. What Chief and I have already talked about is we had a certain chief, I won't name names, but he said, you can't look at that because I've got personnel matters in there and stuff. Well, maybe you shouldn't be putting that in there, but more to the point, it's our program and we're ultimately responsible for it.
Commissioners, just so you know, I did talk to emergency reporting. Within October, the beginning of October, maybe the beginning of November, they're rolling out a new phase for this. They'll be able to merge every one of the accounts that we have into one, and the district will have full access to all accounts at once. That way I can run a report in general for every one of our territories, not just one at a time and then having to compile all those into one report. It'll be one report being run because we own all 6 of those accounts. I was told that it was going to be rolling out hopefully October, if not early November.
Well, I don't know if this should be a text. Go ahead.
So I'm really not worried about any of that right now. I'm just trying to make sure all these reports are being closed out so we can provide the information. And I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, Commissioner Butler does have a point. We could be held liable if somebody does an open records request or a medical report that we went on to and we do not provide it within the allotted time. Now, again, the law does say that we only have to provide what's available. If that report's not available, then we don't have to provide it. But it's wrong that we don't have a report that we ran a call on.
Well, and that's true. I hate to be a lawyer, but I want to make a caveat to that, is that PCRs, EMS reports are confidential under the Texas EMS Act. So if we ever get a request for an EMS report, we need to go to the attorney and get a ruling, and that will not, unless they comply with the statute, that's not public information. But a fire report certainly is, and gosh, that'd be embarrassing to have a fire report that just says we showed up and it's an arson investigation or something.
So. All right, I'm going to read it one more time. Discuss and take action on Chief Treviso's 30-day expiration deadline and on emergency reporting.
The motion that I'm going to make is that Chief Treviso accept the help of the ESD paid staff and have 15 days to complete what's being asked of him. And if not, then at that point, and Ken, I don't know if this is possible, and commissioners, I don't know how you feel about this. I don't think he should be removed as a firefighter because of how valuable he is to the department, but I don't think he should be a chief. I think at that point, you elevate his assistant chief and you let Chief Treviso go back to being a volunteer. I don't think it's right, considering the time that he's put in and the effort he has put into that department, to fire him from the department. He should have the ability to continue to serve until his retirement. But I also don't think that if he refuses the help or if he doesn't meet the deadline, I don't think he should have a position of chief anymore. That he goes to be a volunteer so he can still respond and help. That's how I would like to word this resolution that we're going to vote on.
Well, under the contract, our new contract, probably have the ability to restructure their command structure, so I feel okay with that entire concept. It's kind of weird, but we can do that. I understand not wanting to lose a good guy, but somebody needs to get out there and do the administrative stuff. That's really what a chief's for.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
Commissioners,
Do we have to put a caveat that he's gonna be removed? We just give him the directive that he will have it completed in 15 days with the support of the paid staff. That's it.
I agree. We can
Does that
talk
make
about,
sense?
we could talk about consequences, I think, if that doesn't happen, but I don't feel comfortable adding any disciplinary measures at this time.
I'm sure, and I agree. I don't think it's a case where he don't not want to have it done. I think he's so far over his head right now. He just wants to, we can assist him like Roger, you have a more than ample time. You gave him the opportunity for the help. But now we just direct the help and you have it done in 15 days.
Plus also, I mean, there's a lot of issues with Chief Treviso and a lot of issues with Zanelli that we've talked about over the years. So I feel like taking this reporting a non-compliance issue and acting on this is missing a big part of the larger picture. So I would recommend that we bring this back if we really want to discuss his performance as a chief and whether he should remain in that position as a separate agenda item for a future meeting.
Commissioner, so Commissioner Avalos made a motion to have Chief Treviso accept help and should close out and should have all calls closed out within. It went from 30 days to 15 days. Which one would you like to go? 15 days?
15. Yeah, with the help of your staff, it should be 15. Right. And I think that's something that if he doesn't accept the help, if he says no again, then like Commissioner Butler said, then that's part of what we revisit, because she is right. There's been smoke coming out of that department. I know it's fire and we shouldn't be saying that, but I mean, you know what I mean? There's been stuff going on there besides this. So part of it, again, strongly worded, he needs to accept the help. There is no up. He's not going to say no. And if he doesn't take the help, then we revisit the way that was said earlier.
Right. I think this needs to get done with his help or not. So can we just say the reporting will be closed within 15 days?
I just think you ought to just say it'll be completed in 15 days or there'll be consequences.
So I'm writing it down, Chief Treviso to have all calls closed within 15 days. And then we'll leave the consequences if not completed in 15 days for the next meeting. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Santana, second by Commissioner Barnes. Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Butler,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Barnes,
Aye.
Commissioner Avalos.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 7, discuss and take action on the purchase of fleet under the HGAC buy board contract. Commissioners, as you all know, you all approved a loan for 31 vehicles. I do have the quotes for all 31 vehicles, but it was too much paperwork to load up into the Dropbox. These are going through a buy board and it's allowed by the Texas. So I'd like permission to continue with those since we already have the money in the bank. It was approved by county commissioners on Monday.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Santana and a second by Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Diaz?
Chief, can
Go
we
ahead.
get those documents uploaded at some point?
Yes.
So that we have access to them, please?
It'll be several different uploads because it's a lot of documents.
Yeah.
I can
Also,
try to- But
do we need to, I guess we do, right? In the future, in the next couple of meetings, I'd like to put something in to where we give them a time frame to put in those reports. Again,
We
because
did
every single
already.
one of those trucks is coming with a laptop, and that's a pretty penny that taxpayers are dishing out there. So I want to make sure that if we're gonna equip our trucks that way, that they're using it.
Commissioner, that's already been handled already. So we are currently reviewing every department now to ensure that they're closing out their calls. So back to item number 7, Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Butler,
I,
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Barnes.
Aye.
Was that an aye?
Yes, aye.
Oh, you froze, sorry. And Commissioner Avalos.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 8, discuss and take action on the purchase of Scott Air Packs from MES in the amount of $1,763,560.08. Submitted by Chief Esparza. Commissioners, you do have that one. That was a one single sheet document. It was already approved in the loan, and it's meets the requirements of the loan. He is not only is he under the HGAC contract, but he is the sole source vendor for this product. For this amount, we're going to get 200 air packs, 268 cylinders that we paid for. We're getting 135 cylinders that they're giving us for free, if you would say that. 30 masks of size small, 160 regulars, 10 of the extra large, 7 pack trackers, and 7 receivers for the trucks with charging systems. And not only that, we found out that the 200 air packs come with a airflow test from the factory, but the state of Texas would not accept that. So in part of that, they're giving us about $15,000 worth of another airflow test that we did not do this year for all the old air packs because of this. I couldn't see ourselves spending $20,000 for something that we're going to get in a couple of months and not need it anymore. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Commissioner Barnes, that was a motion.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Butler,
I,
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Barnes,
Aye.
and Commissioner Avalos.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 9, discuss and approve the next meeting to take place on. Commissioners, I was going to recommend another meeting, but with this task just given to us, I think we are going to go with the regular meeting on September
15.
15th. Everybody okay with September 15th?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're still on for the 26th to adopt our tax rate, correct?
Yes, it's already done.
Okay.
It was a
All right,
very
I sent
first
you-
item.
Mariana, I sent you the revised order, and sorry, that language has to be in there because our maintenance and operations rate is going up a little bit.
Yeah, I just, I'm doing the calculation right now. I'm gonna go ahead and update it, but I just wasn't sure if it had changed due to the new, you know, how all the documents change for the tax rate.
Right. No, it's pretty much the same. So, but there's an optimal way, I guess, of doing it.
Okay, so they already approved it. It was item number 6.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Ken, hey Ken, this is Wally from County Budget Office. Did you give them the language out of the tax code chapter 26 to include in the order?
Yes, sir. You're talking about this will increase taxes for maintenance and operations and increases it by X amount and all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's all in
Okay.
there. And
All
we'll
right.
just need to make sure to post that order. The order has all the language we need in there because you're supposed to post on your website that language that, you know, El Paso County SD number 2 has adopted a tax rate that increases taxes for maintenance and operations. So it should all be in there. So I'll just check it and we should be good.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. And everything has
Right.
been posted on the website, starting from like August 5th, from the budget that was approved, the forms that were needed by law to be on August 7th, I believe. Everything was posted.
Good. Okay, we just want to make sure this order is up tonight. We can get it up, get it executed, and get it up tonight, because it has to be on our website.
Okay.
Has to be on the website tonight, Ken?
Well, as soon as possible. The sooner the better.
Do I have a motion for the next meeting to be held on September 15th, 2020?
You
Motion.
said 15. You said 15, right, Roger? One.
Yes, sir.
15.
Okay. Second.
Commissioner Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Butler,
Aye.
Commissioner Santana,
Aye.
Commissioner Barnes,
Aye.
and Commissioner Avalos.
Aye.
Motion carries. Adjournment at 6:58 p.m.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next month. Thank you.
Bye.
Wally, sorry.
Bye.
Thank you for all your help during the Commissioner's Court.
Absolutely.
Mariana, if you have any questions on this stuff.